You sneeze. Your toddler sneezes back, on purpose, 20 minutes later. You yawn. Somehow, across the room, a small body yawns too. You think it's a coincidence. It is not. Your child's brain is built to copy you. Not occasionally. Constantly. From the moment they could focus their eyes, they have been studying your face like it holds the answer to everything. And in a strange way, it does. Here's where it gets stranger. Newborns just minutes old, barely able to see clearly, will stick out their tongue if an adult sticks out theirs first. They cannot talk. They cannot crawl. But they can already imitate. Psychologist Andrew Meltzoff proved this back in the 1970s, and it shocked the scientific world at the time. Babies were not supposed to be capable of imitation that early. The brain was thought to need months of development before it could match a facial expression it had never made before. Meltzoff's experiments showed otherwise. Something in the human brain arrives pre-wired for copying. So why would evolution build a brain that copies before it can even think? Because copying is faster than thinking. Figuring out the world from scratch takes years. Copying takes seconds. A child who watches a parent flinch away from a fire learns danger instantly, without ever touching the flame. A child who watches a parent calmly greet a stranger learns safety just as fast. Imitation is a shortcut. It lets a tiny, undeveloped brain borrow the wisdom of a fully developed one, instantly, without trial and error. This is where mirror neurons come in. Decoded simply, mirror neurons are brain cells that fire both when you do something and when you watch someone else do that same thing. Discovered in the 1990s by neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti and his team while studying monkeys, mirror neurons fire as if the watcher is performing the action themselves. When your child watches you tie your shoes, stir a pot, or raise your voice, a part of their brain activates as though they were doing it too. They are not just observing you. In a very real neurological sense, they are rehearsing you. This explains something every parent has felt and never quite understood. Why does a child pick up your exact tone of frustration, down to the sigh? Why do they fold their arms the same way you do when annoyed? It is not memory in the traditional sense. It is simulation. Their brain has already practiced being you, dozens of times, just by watching. But imitation is not only about copying actions. It is also about copying emotional responses, and this is where things get heavier. Psychologist Albert Bandura ran one of the most famous experiments in developmental psychology to test this. In the 1960s, he showed children a video of an adult behaving aggressively toward an inflatable doll, punching it, yelling at it, knocking it down. Afterward, children who watched were far more likely to act aggressively toward the same doll themselves, compared to children who never saw the video. Bandura called this observational learning. His conclusion reshaped how the world understood childhood behavior. Children do not need to be punished or rewarded to learn a behavior. They simply need to watch it happen, especially if the person doing it seems important to them. Think about what that means for everyday life. Your child is not just watching what you tell them to do. They are watching what you actually do, every day, in the background, when you think no one is paying attention. You raise your voice at traffic. They learn that frustration sounds like that. You apologize after a mistake. They learn that mistakes are survivable. You check your phone the second it buzzes. They learn that urgency feels like that. None of this requires a single word of instruction. The lesson is delivered through observation alone. Here is the counterintuitive twist. Children are not just copying you. They are predicting you. Their brain is using imitation to build an internal model of how the world responds to actions, what is safe, what gets attention, what gets rewarded, what gets punished. Every time they copy your laugh, your frown, your way of holding a cup, they are testing a hypothesis about how the world works. And the most fascinating part is this. Children are more likely to imitate people they feel emotionally connected to, not just anyone they see. A 2007 study led by developmental psychologist Felix Warnken found that toddlers who felt securely bonded to an adult were significantly more likely to copy that adult's specific actions, even unnecessary or quirky ones, compared to a stranger performing the exact same actions. This is called overimitation. Children will copy an adult's pointless extra steps, tapping a box 3 times before opening it, for example, purely because the adult who did it mattered to them emotionally. Why would a brain bother copying something useless? Because to a child, the relationship matters more than the efficiency. Copying you is not just about learning a skill. It is about belonging to you. It says, I trust that what you do has meaning, even if I do not understand why yet. This is why children copy accents, habits, even worries. A child raised by an anxious parent does not just hear the words "be careful." They watch the tightened shoulders, the held breath, the scanning eyes before crossing a street. Their mirror neurons absorb all of it. Long before they can explain anxiety, they may already be rehearsing it. But here is the hopeful side of the same mechanism. If children absorb fear this easily, they absorb calm just as easily. If they mirror frustration, they also mirror patience. The same neural shortcut that copies your worst days also copies your best ones. A parent who narrates their own calm during a hard moment, saying out loud, "This is frustrating, but I'm going to take a breath," is not just managing their own stress. They are handing their child a script for managing stress too, one the child's brain will quietly rehearse and store for later. This is also why scolding a child for copying you rarely works. Telling a child to stop yelling, while yelling, sends 2 contradictory signals at once. The words say one thing. The mirror neurons say another. And mirror neurons, being older, faster, and more automatic, almost always win. So when your child copies the way you handle stress, the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake, the way you greet a hard day, they are not being difficult. They are doing exactly what a developing brain is built to do. They are learning the only way they know how, by becoming, for a moment, you. Which brings the question full circle. You sneeze. They sneeze back. It still looks like a coincidence. It never was.